Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 behind-the-scenes facts about WandaVision.
I grew up being on shows from the 80s like Facts of Life, Different Strokes.
And we just went for it.
For this list, we'll be looking at the best production details about this bewitching show. Since some of these set secrets involve plot details, a spoiler warning for the series is in effect. Which behind-the-scenes fact enchanted you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Dick Van Dyke provided some sitcom advice.
This is your pick, yes?
Season 2, Episode 21.
Dick Van Dyke again? Always sitcom.
There are tons of references and homages to older sitcoms within the world of WandaVision. One of the show's biggest influences was legendary actor Dick Van Dyke. At one point, series director Matt Shakman and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige met with the icon at Disneyland's Club 33.
Kevin Feige and I had a lovely lunch with Dick Van Dyke shortly before we started pre-production on the show, so we could really get in touch with how they did it.
While they caught him up to speed on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Van Dyke gave them advice on how to create a great sitcom. We wish we could have been a fly on the wall during this meeting of the minds. Who wouldn't want to see Feige explain Infinity Stones to Dick Van Dyke? However, we'll settle for the knowledge that the legendary actor took the time to consult on WandaVision.
So what I see here is a baby witch, obsessed with sitcoms and years of therapy ahead of her.
Number 9. Tiana Paris initially didn't know she'd be Monica Rambeau.
I have wanted to be in the MCU since the MCU debuted.
Audiences were introduced to Monica Rambeau in 2019's Captain Marvel. By the end of the film, she saw her friend Carol become a superhero. Since Monica got powers during WandaVision, it looks like she'll follow in Captain Marvel's footsteps soon. Actress Tiana Paris initially had no clue she was being considered for the role of Monica.
We all know Marvel is very top secret, and I was just sent some sides. I think it was the 70s episode. So I was very confused.
But after an impressive audition, she learned she would be playing an iconic Marvel character. On Marvel Studios Assembled, Paris expressed her excitement about joining the MCU. She also acknowledged the significance of portraying a black female superhero.
And to have a black female superhero be on a screen is monumental.
Based on her tremendous performance as Monica so far, we can't wait to see her again in Captain Marvel 2. Number 8. It took a lot of detail to represent each time period.
Jess Hall, who's a brilliant DP, looked at old original prints of these television shows, and he was able to try to match how closely as we could possibly get to what it looked like then.
Over the course of the series, audiences got to see how the town of Westview would look in different decades. The production team put in a lot of work to capture the essence of each time period. They had a limited time to change the set exteriors and interiors to reflect the decade they were in.
All of these parts come in and go up very, very quickly because you've only got maybe 12 hours to complete this turnaround.
At the same time, they changed camera lenses and lighting constantly. For example, they used older lighting instruments on set when they were shooting the first episode to make WandaVision look like it was really shot in the 50s. The results were nothing short of awe-inspiring. Thanks to the crew, each and every decade the show covers feels distinct and accurate.
Bravo!
Number 7. It was partially filmed at a familiar Hollywood location.
Forgive me for not stopping by sooner to welcome you to the block. My mother-in-law was in town, so I wasn't.
If you got a sense of deja vu when you saw the outside of Wanda and Vision's house, we don't blame you. A few of the show's establishing scenes were captured on Blondie Street. While that location may not sound familiar at first, there is a strong chance you've seen a movie or show that was set there before. Classic sitcoms like The Partridge Family and Bewitched filmed on that famed street. The exterior of the house our Avengers and their kids live in has also been seen in many movies. You can spot it in everything from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation to Hocus Pocus. That makes us wonder, would the Sanderson sisters get along with Agatha?
Hang on! I'll go grab it and we can start planning! Oh, this is gonna be a gas!
Number 6. Director Matt Shakman acted in sitcoms.
Matt Shakman is just the person to direct a complicated Rubik's Cube of a show like this.
Matt Shakman directed every episode of WandaVision. The experienced director has worked on everything from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to Game of Thrones. Having those two shows on his resume alone proved he could handle dynamic action scenes and zany comedic beats. But one of the best things Shakman brought to the table was his first-hand experience with sitcoms.
I grew up being on shows from the 80s like Facts of Life, Different Strokes, Growing Pains, etc.
After making appearances in a variety of shows as a child actor, he got a lead role on Just the 10 of Us. When that sitcom ended, Shakman largely shied away from acting. Fortunately, he drew on his experiences from that show and the rest of his extensive resume to direct WandaVision and give us a superhero show unlike anything we've seen before.
The idea that I could combine all these things that I've always loved into one crazy project was almost like too hard to believe. It's too good to be true.
Number 5. They used a variety of visual cues and tricks. The first couple of episodes mainly consist of black and white visuals. In order to make Vision's natural purple skin hue pop on camera, they followed the example of older TV shows and painted him blue.
During the 50s and 60s, actresses would actually use blue makeup, blue lipstick, so their lips would appear red. And lo and behold, we did the same with Paul. Found the right shade of blue during some camera tests.
But that's not the only way the production team played with the visuals. Whenever things took a dark turn in the first few episodes, WandaVision slowly turned from looking like a cheery sitcom to appearing like an episode from the classic horror series The Twilight Zone. This helped increase our anxiety and hinted at hidden darkness underneath the seemingly happy town of Westview.
And instead of it being moments of today's horror, we take camera tricks from Twilight Zone to make you feel off kilter.
The aspect ratio also changes to punctuate significant moments. WandaVision's obvious and subtle visual tricks helped immerse us deeper into this complex world.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Vision, help him.
Number 4. Bringing in a live studio audience.
I'm a little anxious about the whole live. I haven't been in front of a live audience since 1884.
It would have been easy for the production team to add a laugh track underneath the whole series, but they decided to try to make a live crowd laugh on set for the first episode. The audience seating was also changed to make it look like they were attending a TV taping in the 50s. Even the crew got dressed up in period-appropriate clothing. Although the prospect of performing in front of an audience was a little nerve-wracking to Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, they fully embraced the live experiment.
I think I have another idea. And then I change.
The resulting episode was a fantastic introduction to this offbeat sitcom series. If you rewatch the aptly titled Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience episode again, keep an ear out for the audience's authentic laughter.
Who are those people?
What are you wearing?
Why are they here?
What are you wearing?
Well, it's our anniversary.
Number 3. Practical effects were used to create some magic.
And to that end, we wanted to shoot it the way they shot it, and that means visual effects that would have been done as special effects.
While Marvel projects are usually celebrated for their groundbreaking CGI, their latest series relied on more old-school techniques. Wanda's magic was initially portrayed with practical effects. When she wanted to make things float, the crew placed a bunch of props on strings and moved them around. Instead of using CG to help things appear or disappear, the editors just added in quick cuts.
Action! 3, swap. Action!
Oh no, too much.
These practical effects and sneaky switches made WandaVision look like an episode of the 20th Century Bewitched series. And although we love the advanced visual effects in the later episodes, there's something incredibly charming about seeing the strings underneath Wanda's magic.
Whoops! You weren't supposed to see how we did that trick.
Number 2. Agatha All Along was created by a familiar duo.
Who's been messing up everything?
It's been Agatha all along.
Is the catchy Agatha All Along song still stuck in your head? We think we know why. The duo behind that insanely catchy bop and the other sitcom theme openings were Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. If you don't know who this duo is, allow us to remind you of their biggest and coolest hit.
Let it go, when I rise like the break of dawn.
That's right, these are the same songwriters behind Frozen's Let It Go.
Every single episode is a different style and a different theme song, and we're like,
sign us up.
so like, you had us at hello.
Not only do they have a great relationship with Disney, but Robert also happened to know director Matt Shakman from his college days. This duo's familiarity with the creative team, as well as their insane musical talent, made them the ideal team for WandaVision all along. Yep, it's stuck in our head again.
And I killed Sparky too.
Before we conjure up our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Paul Bettany thought he was getting fired when Marvel called him up. Luckily, they wanted to talk to him about a magical opportunity.
I got a call from Kevin to come and see him in his office when I went, oh, I'm getting canned. And I went in and much to my surprise, they pitched this bonkers idea for a show.
Matt Shakman never meant to tease Fantastic Four's Reed Richards. The aerospace engineer was always meant to be Major Goodner.
We did reshoot a little thing there, changed some dialogue, added the aerospace engineer, which was never an intention on our side to set up the Fantastic Four.
Ralph Boner's name was a reference to growing pains. It wasn't just meant to be a juvenile joke.
Which is to be continued next month's issue. Oh, great. This thing doesn't even have a centerfold.
Oh, way to go, Boner.
There was a sitcom boot camp for the cast. This made them prepared for any comedy style.
We did a whole sitcom boot camp with the actors. We studied different sitcoms over the years to figure out the different approaches.
Olsen couldn't wiggle her nose like Samantha from Bewitched. Olsen used a hand gesture to pay homage to Bewitched instead.
Here, let me help you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Senor Scratchy was going to have a bigger part.
Agnes! I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I brought my pet rabbit for your magic act.
One of the best parts of watching WandaVision weekly was that fans got to create and share fan theories. While our theories about Mephisto, Reed Richards, and Ultron being involved in the plot were all wrong, whoever thought Senor Scratchy had a bigger part to play was 100% right. According to director Matt Shakman, Darcy, Billy, Tommy, Ralph, and Monica were originally going to try to steal the dangerous Darkhold from Agatha's basement. But Senor Scratchy would transform into a hideous demon to protect the book.
And then this whole American Werewolf in London transformation happens and the rabbit turns into this big demon, right? And to her, like, familiar, you know. And then Goonies set piece ensues.
Although this scene was shot, it was ultimately cut so it wouldn't disrupt the flow of the overall plot. We hope Marvel will eventually take a page out of DC's book and give us the Senor Scratchy cut.
Wanda. You didn't think you were the only magical girl in town, did you?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.